A fable about following your dream. Remember receiving a letter from the American publisher Harper Collins that said that reading The Alchemist was liking like getting up at dawn and seeing the sunrise while the rest of the world still slept. I went outside, looked up at the sky, and thought to myself, so the book is going to be published in English. At the time, I was struggling to establish myself as a writer and to follow my path despite all the voices telling me it was impossible. And little by little, my dream was becoming reality. 10, 100, 1,000, a million copies sold in America. One day, a Brazilian journalist phoned to say that President Clinton had been photographed reading the book sometime later when I was in Turkey. 100 little by little my dream was becoming reality. 10, 100, 1,000, a million copies sold in America. One day, a Brazilian journalist phoned to say that President Clinton had been photographed reading the book. Sometime later, when I was in Turkey, I opened the magazine Vanity Fair and there was Julia Roberts declaring that she adored the book. Walking alone down a street in Miami, I heard a girl telling her mother, "You must read The Alchemist. The book has been translated into 56 languages, has sold more than 20 million copies, and people are beginning to ask what's the secret behind such a huge success." The only honest response is I don't know. All I know is that like Santiago the Shepherd boy, we all need to be aware of our personal calling. What what is a personal calling? It is God's blessings. It is the path that God chooses for you here on earth. Whenever we do something that fills us with enthusiasm, we are following our legend. However, don't all have the courage to comfort our own dream. Why? There are four obstacle. First, we are told from childhood onward that everything we want to do is impossible. We grow up with this idea, and as the years accumulate, so too do the layers of prejudice, fear, and guilt. However, don't all have the courage to confirm our own dream. Why? There are four obstacles. First, we are told from childhood onward that everything we want to do is impossible. We grew up with this idea, and as the years accumulate, so too do the layers of prejudice, fear, and guilt. There comes a time when our personal calling is so deeply bur- buried in our soul as to be invisible, but it's still there. If we have the courage to dis- designate a dream, disinter dream, we are then faced by the second obstacle. Love, we know what we want to do, but are afraid of hurting those around us by abandoning everything is order to pursue our dream. We do not realize that love is just a further impetus, impetus, not something that will prevent us going forward. We do not realize that those who genuinely wish us well want us to be happy and are prepared to accompany, accompany us on that journey. Once we have accepted that love is a stimulus, we come up against the third obstacle, fear of the defeats we will meet on the path. We who fight for our dream suffer for more when it doesn't work out because we cannot fall back on the old excuse. Oh, well, I didn't really want it anyway. We do want it and know that we have staked, staked everything on it and that the path of the personal calling is no easier than any other path except that our whole heart is in this journey. Then we worry various of light must be prepared to have patience in difficult times and to know that the universe is conspiring in our favor, even though we may not understand how. I ask myself, are defeats necessary? Well, necessary or not, then happy. When we first begin fighting for our dream, we have no exercise and make many mistakes. The secret of life, though, is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. So, why is it so important to live our personal calling if we are only going to suffer more than other people? Because once we have overcome the defeats, and we always do, we are filled by a greater sense of euphoria and confidence in the silence of our hearts. We know that we are proving ourselves worthy of the miracle of life. Each day, each hour is part of the good fight. The Alchemist. বলতে বলিস